ball, you lay your fingers in the ball, lay your thumb in the ball second, and then it's grip it and rip it, because these guys just try to rip the cover off the ball, and if they get any part of the head pin, they almost always strike. And so it was right there. You could see the disappointment on Ryan Shafer's face when he left the 7-pin, which again, as you mentioned, Mike, is one of the tougher spares now for right-handers, because he expects to strike when he hits that light hit in the pocket.
Is he going to throw it straight or hook it at the 7-pin?
Oh, I think he's going to throw it pretty straight. I don't know, but hooking the ball just gets you in trouble. See, that's pretty hard, pretty straight. For you and me, that's a big hook. For him, that's almost a backup ball for Schaeffer.
Just held on there. With these young kids doing that, they're ripping it, gripping it, and ripping it and everything, all of John Daly. How does that play out for longevity?
Well, it doesn't, and we've had a lot of injuries, rotary cuff injuries, wrist injuries, things like that, through a lot for a lot of the young players. And one of the premier players, rookies that came out on the tour a number of years back, came off the amateur circuit as just a dominant player and tore his rotary cuff. Excuse me a minute. Let's watch this shot here by Ryan Shafer. That ball did some tricks for him there. And that was interesting. Did you watch the back end of that as you look at
Darryl Dobbs, the ABC Executive Director?
Nice guy, and really a driving force in the industry today. This guy has done a lot for bowling in general, and he, along with Ed Bauer, created one of the most successful formats in bowling today, the Brunswick World Team Challenge, right here on Prime Network. Tough spare, the washout. 1, 2, 4, 10. He's got to get the ball on the left side of the head pin and drive that head pin into the 10 pin. Just like this.
Too much, and he's open. So Bob Benoit takes the lead, sitting on the bench, as all the players seem to be just struggling today. Bowling 200 is a difficult task.
Well, they're used to bowling 3 games against each other. All through this format, it was 3 games, total pins wins the match on one pair of lanes. For example, if these players were bowling yesterday, they'd be bowling 3 games against each other on this pair. And they had then the luxury of maybe a game to get lined up. And maybe they'd bowl 190 or 2-0 the first game, come back with 230, 240 the second, and so on. Now, the pressure is constant. It's a 1 game, if you lose, you're out of here match, instead of that 3 games where you could relax a little bit. So both players feeling the heat a little bit, and anytime you make a mistake, it could cost you the match. And so Ryan Shafer struggling, especially on the left-hand lane, both players having trouble getting the ball to the pocket on lane 25.
Cross lane at the 10 pin.
Look out.
Little stick, and he missed it. Boy, or he slipped, it looked like, huh?
Well, the players I talked to them before that we went on the air, Mike, and all of them mentioned the same thing. We're bowling on synthetic lanes, synthetic approaches, and they're all having problems with the heel kind of sticking on the approach.
Some of our other finishers coming up here. Adam Poe finished in 10th. Somebody from other than Tacoma. He's from Missouri. And Rick Steelsmith, the guy you were just talking about.
The guy I was talking about.
Former Masters champion Kelly Kaufmann, the literal John Daly of the PBA Tour from Topeka, Kansas. Kelly Kaufmann probably gets more revs than you and I did in our careers. So,
down and back. Well, as again, I mentioned earlier, whoever can figure out the left-hand lane is the one that's probably going to win this match. And both players struggling here.
Goodness,
what is that, Mike? What is that? That's the Jersey squasher again. We're going to take another look at Bob Benoit's footwork, and you can see the heel sticks and then slips. So the stick-slip thing is when the heel gets down early, it grabs the approach, then you slide, you lose your leverage. Here's another look at that last shot. Watch this now. The Jersey squasher.
Back live. Ryan Shafer goes a little high, leaves the 4-7. So both players just grinding it out, and so many times in PBA events and the Masters event, it winds up being that kind of competition. You just have to kind of outlast your opponent and grind it away, right?
Well, what happens in this situation is a lot of times, especially on the synthetic lanes, the players practice for an hour before they go on the air, and they change the lanes dramatically to the point where it's a condition that none of them have played on all week. And advantage then goes to the only left-hander in the field, Mike Aulby, who's coming up next. No one's bowling on his side of the lane, so obviously it's going to be an advantage for him.
Ryan Shafer leading by 4 pins, or is he trailing by 4 pins right now? So Bob Benoit's trying to hold on here. We'll find out if he can do it when we come back. We're in the 8th frame. Ryan Shafer working on a strike. We're running a little bit behind, so we had to pull through in that time. Ryan Shafer has struck. Bob Benoit has gotten a spare and a strike. Ryan trying for a double. And knocks a 10-pin out of there. Gets himself back in this match. He's taken a 6-pin lead with that as we head to the 9th frame. And Earl, so often happens, it's the player that can perform at the end of the game that wins the match.
So true, and this is the last time that Ryan Shafer has to bowl on what has been the more difficult of the lanes for both players, lane 25, and if he can get out of this one with a strike here, he's definitely in the driver's seat.
Well, the last time on this lane, it appeared like he got a little bit further left, a little harder, and went a little straighter.
He'll get a lot of revs on this one. He'll walk around the arm swing, open up the right shoulder, bring it back through, and rip the cover off the ball. And there's maximum revolutions and the solid 10.
Nice shot, professional shot, but keeps the match nice and close.
It does, and he can't let up. You got to make the spares, fill the frames.
Ryan Shafer, cross lane at the 10-pin. If he makes it, we'll be up by 5 pins. If he misses it, he falls behind.
If he were to miss it at this stage, I'd be shocked. I don't expect him missing his spares right now.
He didn't. You're right. Bob Benoit now trying to figure out both lanes. He finally figured out the left lane in the 8th frame with a nice shot.
We're going to get a look at the footwork here, hopefully, of Bob Benoit. And he's playing so far toward the left side of the lane as a right-hander. Here's a great idea. He's actually walking around the ball return. He'll watch him walk to the left of the ball return before he lays the ball down. There he goes. Left of the ball return, playing so deep he has to go left with his feet and couldn't get the ball down the lane far enough in the big 4, the 4-6, 7-10.
And he's basically handed this match to Ryan Shafer.
No question that was, he's had some good breaks and he's had a couple of bad ones where he had hit the pocket and didn't carry the corners. In this particular shot, this was disaster. No question about it. And this could be the end of his hopes for the Masters Championships here.
And he missed them all. Stuck again.
Worse. Yeah, that's even worse.
And tremendous loss in count.
Here's another look at that shot. And again, watch him walk around the ball return. But he just can't get far enough left with his feet to get the ball to skid far enough down the lane before it breaks. And then, of course, he can see by his reaction that it wasn't what he expected out of that particular shot. And
well, he still has a chance. If he would strike out in the 10th frame, he would force Ryan Shafer to get at least 9.
Well, the pin count there was so important with him being on the strike. He let him get away from him, and you can see Bob's attitude right now as this is over. He's kind of given up.
Well, now that he didn't strike there, I understand that.
Here, the 210. It would take a miracle now for Bob to win, but anything can happen in the sport of bowling, as we all know. Giving it a shot.
At the 210, he's open once again. Tremendous prize list here. Larry Laub already got 10,000. He got another 800 for the matches that he won. Bob Benoit's going to wind up with 15,000. What is it? 600? Is that what he's going to wind up with here? Yeah, that's right. 15-6. Ryan Shafer, a little free practice time right here on lane 26. Yeah, still can't get it back. Boy, it hits that oil and just reacts and won't make it back. It hits if there's any dry there, it hits it dead left. So you're right, Aulby's just got to be over there salivating, right?
Well, I hope not. Get something on the approach, we've got a problem. But he is, I'm sure, he's down there warming up down around lanes 35 and 6, and he'll be coming over here pumped up and ready to go because that left side, I'm sure, hasn't changed near as dramatically as the right side of the lane has.
Ryan Shafer, the winner of match number 2. He'll face Mike Aulby, our current Tournament of Champions winner. Should be a great match. We've got youth versus experience. Be sure and stay with us. We'll be right back.
You can get TV.
Well, Ryan Shafer has just won his first game on national television anywhere. He was 0-6, I think, coming into that game. He's finally got a win under his belt. He might never stop winning now, Earl.
Well, he's going to have to really earn this one because he's got, as we mentioned in the Open, maybe the premier left-hander in the world today, Mike Aulby in this match. And Mike, nothing bothers Mike Aulby, it seems like. He just continues to make good shots.
A new ball. He's tried it on his fill ball the last game and struck But again, everybody's still struggling on lane 25. Aulby should have an advantage there, too. I mean, it's not the same for him.
Yeah, the player coming on has a choice of starting lanes, and Mike Aulby determined who's going to start where in this particular match, and he decided to let Ryan Shafer bowl his 10th frame on lane 26, so that's the lane he's done his best on.
Well, you know what that tells me is that he's not worried about either lane. He's just picking the best lane for him to finish on, and the heck with the other guy.
Very possibly you're right, Mike, because we watched him in his warm-ups just before we came back on the air, and he was throwing the ball quite well. If anybody has confidence in their ability right now, it's this guy. He just came off a big win, the Tournament of Champions, just a week or two ago.
And he got 2 300s in this event this week. Should mention that Ryan Shafer bowled 300 in this event this week, too.
Right. That would be interesting. 300 to 290 possible here.
Yeah, well, I mean, if that happens, so far, we've only had 3 doubles between all of our players, and they're averaging 181.
Here's another look at the style of this classic left-hander. That tremendously free arm swing, the steady head, the long follow-through, and look at the balance at the foul line. That's what creates good shot making.
Plus, there's just something about his heart.
Heart and brain. He makes them work well together. He's a very intelligent player, and generally, when he needs to make a good shot, he can make it happen.
So smooth. That one. So smooth, though.
So smooth. Oh, yeah.
His arm swing does seem the freest of any of the 5 players today.
It is. There's no question in my mind that the way he pushes the ball up and away like that just lets him free that shoulder up. All right. Smoothness against power, and here's the power. Power's in trouble. Power's in trouble. 3-6-10.
Yeah. Do you think he's intimidated at all by Aulby?
I don't think so. I think Ryan's been around long enough now, that, even though he's the youngest player in the top 5, that he has the experience now that I don't think anything's going to bother him other than his own shot making. And right now, he feels he's making pretty good shots, but he's just not getting the ball reaction that he expects. Tough spare here for a guy like this who likes to turn the ball a lot. Wants to get between the 3 and the 6. Just like that.
Perfect. Needs to make that quality a shot on the first ball, huh?
Yeah, sometimes, you know, how it seems to work out. You're lined up for the bucket, but not the pocket. No matter what you do, the ball goes to the same place.
Well, he's down by 13 pins, and we've only bowled 2 frames. So Aulby's come right out and said, hey, you're going to have to do something to beat me.
But there's no question he's going to have to do something as you look at the final score here, Mike.
Yeah, 190 beating 150.
190 is not going to do it in this game, that's for sure. Mike Aulby, the only thing that's going to stop him probably is a 7-pin or a 6-pin.
And they go from the light to the high to the light. And it's like the 1-3 is blocked out for the right-hander.
Yeah, and this is another tough spare. Again, the 2-5. There's a lot of ways to miss it, only a couple of ways to make it. We're going to take another look at that first ball. You can see how deep he is in the lane. He's actually playing the 5th arrow, trying to get the ball to skid about 50 feet, then turn over. Well, it skids about 52 or 3 before it turns over, and that's the reason he left the 2-5. Again, he wants to hit both pins with the ball here if possible.
Again, he goes straight.
He can go straight as Ryan Shafer can go, which isn't very straight. Be careful. There it is, the chop.
Well, Aulby just doesn't pay any attention, just goes about his business, picks up his ball, wipes it off, and says, here I come.
Right now, you're trying to keep Mike Aulby awake.
Oh, he's ready. Awake. He's awake. Nobody has ever won the Tournament of Champions in the ABC Masters back-to-back, and Mike Aulby has a chance to do it today. And that's the way. That's our first turkey so far.
Well, he might get 9 more. Who knows?
Well, he's done it. He beat David Ozio earlier last year, 300 to 279 in the championship match. 36 pins ahead. We've hardly had time to catch our breath.
Mike playing right around the 3rd arrow, between the 2nd and 3rd arrow, and he's been pretty much playing there all week. He was experimenting earlier on with playing out around the 2nd or 3rd board near the channel, but he decided that he got a much better ball reaction in this area here.
Has to hurry. Didn't make it back and leaves the bucket for the left-hander. What is that? The 3-5-6-9. Is that right?
I've left that a few times. I know what that is. Yeah, and this is a tough spare. anytime that you leave a cluster of pins like this, it's just that many more ways to miss it. Mike, one of the better spare shooting left-handers. You don't win 23 titles and some major events without being a good spare shooter. And Mike going to a hard-shelled bowling ball here so it won't hook. Hard and straight, right at it. Playing the right side of the lane.
Perfect. Mike Aulby commanding so far through 3.5 frames. He leads by 32. We'll be back right after this. Ryan Shafer up in the 4th frame. Ryan, who likes to read John Grisham novels. Needs to weave a little story right here as he goes Brooklyn and leaves the 10-pin. So making that change to the bowling ball certainly didn't seem to help, did it?
No, but maybe he felt Mike Aulby's shot looks a little better than his. He'd try that side. What do you think?
I'll tell you. Some strange pinfall here when you hit on that side. I watched the right-hander last night leave the 6 and the 8 on a solid Brooklyn strike, Earl.
Ah, the 6 and 8.
Well, he didn't strike. A solid Brooklyn hit. At the 10-pin, he has it. Ryan Shafer is a single, eligible bachelor for anybody interested out there. But right now, he's just thinking about how to get the ball in the 1-3, and he can't figure out how to do it.
Well, he's staying with this bowling ball that he switched to in his last shot of the match previous to this one, and he must think he can make this ball work. Otherwise, or the other one was completely worthless. I don't know which, but he looks like he's made another move on the approach here.
Yeah, he's changed angles, hasn't he?
He's gone way outside and trying to get, and look at this. Tries one shot instead of the 5th arrow, playing between the 2nd and 3rd arrow, and the ball just doesn't make it back to the pocket. It leaves the 2, 4, 6, 10. And you want tough spares. This is one of them. He's got to get it to the left side of the 2-pin, slide it into the 4-10, and
have you ever left that spare? I don't think I ever left it.
Well, not as a left-hander. You aren't going to leave it very often, but as a right-hander, you can leave it. I don't think I've ever left the other combination, which would be the 3-6 and the 4-7. No. Anyway, this is a tough spare. I don't care how you look at it.
No way, it certainly is, I'll tell you. And, a great try. I got to give him credit for at least trying something new. He wasn't going to beat Aulby from where he was at. He said, hey, I got to do something here.
He wasn't going to beat anybody from where he was at, the way things were going. So he had to make a move, and I think he's going to stay out there. I don't think he's going to move back in. Here's a man that, man of the hour, you might say. Man of the year, maybe. Very well end up, if he were to win this event, as player of the year.
That's an interesting thing that you mentioned, because I understand that nobody that has ever won the American Bowling Congress Masters Tournament has been PBA Player of the Year the year that he won the Masters.
Really? Aulby set a lot of precedents over the last few years, so this could be another one. Hang on.
Never a doubt. He wasn't worried, Earl. He wasn't worried at all. There's the scoreboard, 46 pins the difference. The history of this tournament, it started back in 1951. You know who the first winner was?
I do. As a matter of fact, Lee Juglard.
Right, 3-stepper.
$700. Now, back then, that was a lot of money. This match by far not over. Anything can happen. And of course, Mike Aulby making it look like he's unbeatable, and Ryan Shafer struggling, but there's a lot of frames to play, and I'm not saying that just to build this up, but Shafer is capable of throwing a lot of strikes and still has a possibility of a 219 score, which Mike Aulby has yet to beat.
I think you're right. I think he's staying with the more conventional angle.
Yeah, this will be between the 2nd and 3rd arrow, and he'll hit it a little harder. That last one didn't finish for him, so he'll just put more on it like that to make it finish like that. And a solid 10. Bad break because he really needed that hit to get things going for him, and maybe put a little pressure on Mike Aulby. Right now, Mike Aulby freewheeling with no one pushing him with that tremendous lead.
When Aulby's in a situation like this, is it harder to maintain your concentration? Or is there a let-up because you're so far ahead? Or?
No, Mike Aulby, I think, because of his experience, and I think he's been in this position many times, as good as he is. So I think he can handle it. He'll just stay out there and keep making good shots.
Ryan Shafer just edges off the spare. Mike Aulby seemingly in a commanding position. We'll be back with the completion of match.
Add more pain reliever for medicating action and extra zinc oxide for drying action.
I recommend Extra Strength Gold Bond to all my friends because it works.
New Extra Strength Gold Bond medicated powder.
Mike Aulby up in the 7th frame while we were away. Ryan Shafer finally figured out the left lane, lane 25, by moving a little further to the right and struck. Aulby trying for a double here. And gets a little bucket crumbler right there.
Bucket crumbler. I like that, Mike.
56 pins ahead. 3 frames left. You take Ryan Shafer off the sheet. What's he going to finish with? 209?
209 possible. That means Aulby has to help him a little bit, and I don't think that's very likely. But again, anything is possible in a game of bowling. The ups and downs, not only physically but mentally, of this game.
Gets a nice break, leaves only the 4-7.
We're going to take a look at something that's kind of unique and see if you can notice a difference in the playing of Mike Aulby. Do you see much difference there? Only one thing. He extended the shot at the top, the arm at the top, rather than bringing it down and then extended it. And here's basically the same reaction, same result. Strike, strike, strike out of Mike Aulby. Cross lane at the 4-7.
The other thing I noticed is he doesn't look any older now.
Well, he's just a baby anyway. How old can you look? I mean, the guy's what, 35 or something?
He's 35.
Now, for you and me, Mike, that's pretty young.
Yeah, 35 does look young now. I have a son almost that old.
A little re-rack here out of Ryan Shafer. He can't afford any more 10 pins, any more mistakes. He needs nothing but strikes off the sheet.
You know, he's got 4 third-place finishes. For the double. Beautiful shot right there. And there's the winner of the Association of College Unions International, Mike Mullen, receiving the trophy from Joe Norris, and Jennifer Swanson, who went from 4th to 1st the last game with a 299, getting the trophy from Elaine Hagan.
Elaine Hagan, of course, with the American WIBC, Women's International Bowling Congress, and has done a lot of work with things like the BVL, which is an organization that collects money for our veterans, help them buy things like television sets and things of that nature. She's a wonderful lady, very instrumental in making things happen with the Women's International Bowling Congress.
And now they're all one together, right?
Basically, yeah. We're making a match out of it. Schaeffer made the big move, and I'll tell you what, this would be an opportunity for Mr. Williams, who's down, the tournament leader down here about 15 lanes away, to come down and take a look at the move that Schaeffer made, because it might be that he'll be bowling that same angle, and he can save himself a lot of heartache trying to find the right line, because what a great move Schaeffer did make, but maybe 1 or 2 frames too late. Aulby has to pay attention. He can't afford to make any mistakes. Theoretically, this game only 2 pins apart right now, 3 pins apart.
Has the 10 pin, no trouble for Mike Aulby. If I figuring out right, I think he needs 9 to lock this up right now.
9 on the first ball.
9 on the first ball will do it for him.
Mike Aulby has got enough patch. He looks like a race car driver out there with all those patches on him, doesn't he? You see Mark Williams, yeah.
Packing up his stuff and saying, hey, it was Aulby and I last night. I beat him last night. I can do it again today.
It's a tough guy to handle twice. To win the match.
That's it. Like a champion, which he is.
In Ryan Shafer's mind right now, he's thinking, if I'd only moved maybe 2-3 frames earlier.
What he's thinking probably is that fill ball he had. Why didn't I try that angle in the fill ball the last game, you know? But hindsight is always perfect.
Right.
Mike Aulby just wants to keep that stroke going.
And many times, Mike, I'm sure you've noticed this over the years, the player that makes the move first, and that's based on experience. Been there before. Now, next time Ryan Shafer gets in this situation, maybe he'll make that move in the fill ball or something, rather than waiting till the 5th or 6th frame of the match when it's too late. And maybe next time he'll win that match and want to win the tournament.
Sometimes the line between winning and losing is just so fine in all sports. Aulby at the 7-pin, finishes with 222, our first 200 of the day. Ryan Shafer would like to just strike it out and finish with 209. $20,600, still not a bad payday, Earl.
Not a bad payday for this young man. He'll be back for more.
Go, and 5 and trouble right there. Well, our final match going to be that man, Mike Aulby, taking on another Tournament of Champions winner, Mark Williams. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Well, we get a look at the crowd there. The National Bowling Stadium, Mike Aulby watched Mark Williams take his practice balls, and Mark Williams hardly got a strike and never got the ball on the right side of the headpin on lane 26. Maybe that means nothing. Maybe it means everything. We'll see.
Well, I'm sure it was a confidence builder for Mike. He feels very comfortable on the lane. That's evident by how well he's hit the pocket, even though he leaves the 7th in there. The only thing that's held Mike Aulby back, and as you mentioned before, Mark Williams did beat Mike Aulby in the 3-game match yesterday for the tournament lead. But the only thing that's held Aulby back was when he'd get maybe one pair of lanes that he couldn't carry the corner pins on. Now, so far, he hasn't really devastated this pair. And if Mark Williams can find it, hit the right-hand lane, we might have a great match.
I don't know. The right-handers so far are averaging less than 180. So, I mean, it seems like he just keeps his nose clean that he's going to win this tournament, but you never know. That's why they play him.
Well, if anybody can figure a way to play this shot, it's this guy. He's always been capable of finding a way. Here he gets very high in the head and leaves only the 6-pin. Got a break there. Could have been a lot worse. But that's as close as he's come to getting the ball on the right-hand side of the head pin. That was in the middle of it. Good spare shooter. He's always been a good spare shooter.
There's Kevin Card, the Bud Light sports analyst for Anheuser-Busch, longtime sponsor, Bud Light ABC Masters. Well, makes the spare.
Well, the question, I think, right now for Mark Williams, not only does he have to find the right-hand lane, but by trying to find the right-hand lane, is he going to lose the left-hand lane, which he threw very well during his practice balls. He has to strike here to have any chance in this match. He has to find the left-hand lane and can't keep it.
Well, let me ask you, as he strikes in the second frame, did you ever enter a big match like this, lost on one lane, and then find it during the game?
That's a good, the first thing that comes to mind as you look at the stats here and the graphics on Mike Aulby.
PBA National, the U.S. Open, the Tournament of Champions, and the ABC Masters. Won the Masters in '89. Tournament of Champions he just won. He's won the PBA National twice, and he's won 1 U.S. Open.
Tremendous record. Talking about when you said about being lost, first thing that comes to mind, I remember we're bowling the Hawaiian Invitational one year. This is back in the mid-'70s, and I'm the tournament leader, and I go out and take my warm-up balls, and Harry Golden, the tournament director, said, well, which lane do you want to start on? And I said, well, it doesn't make any difference. I can't find either one of them. And then I proceeded to bowl 299 in that game. So it does happen. Know.
It does happen, huh? So Mark Williams has got a chance after all. And he's ahead in the match right now, even if Aulby makes his spare. Informed in my ear that in 1989, when Mike Aulby won the Masters, he also won the U.S. Open that year. So,
and still, it wasn't Player of the Year. I believe Amleto Monticelli was Player of the Year that year.
Well, he was PBA Player of the Year, but Mike was the Bowling Writers Player of the Year. 1985, he won. If he wins this game in this tournament tonight, he can make it 10 years apart for that award.
Well, it's not a lock, but he would definitely be the front runner.
Looking for his first strike here, though.
Still got a long way to go. It doesn't look like Mike's that comfortable either. And it looks to me like he's having more problems with the approach than he is with the lane. That shot, he was off balance at the point of release, and whether he's trying to get a little extra ball speed or whether he's stuck on the approach, I'm not sure which. But it wasn't the normal Mike Aulby release. Signs of hope here for Mark Williams, the tournament leader.
He's a very determined man and a very confident man, Mark Williams is.
He is. He dedicated himself to the game of bowling, he says, and he's going to be a winner, and he's going to work hard at it. Trains at it, works hard, takes care of himself. He's in good physical condition. Now, here it is. This could be the key to the whole match. Can he get a strike on the right-hand lane?
Yeah.
Or at least not get an open, more than anything. A little more ball speed.
Oh, and then it doesn't make it back. Oh, that's so frustrating, you know.
It is. And Mark Williams, in his mind, made a great shot there. He was very comfortable with that shot. He liked it, and you can see the look on his face, the confusion. Here at tough spare, the 2-8. Ball just didn't climb up to the pocket.
Not an easy spare either.
Not an easy spare. He'll hook this one. Try to hook it into it, almost like a strike shot. Wants the ball to get both pins.
And it does. No trouble.
We're going to take a look at what Mark Williams is doing on the right-hand lane. Because of the ball return, you can see where he's standing right up against it. Actually, his leg brushes the ball return as he goes by. And now he has to get to the left side of it so that he can get the ball to the right. So he's sliding almost in the channel, laying the ball down on about the 7th board. What a great shot that is.
Ball return's not a factor on the left lane. That slides by. How many times have we seen that happen with players today on that lane?
And the key, I think, again, Mike, I mentioned this earlier, is that if he fights to get the right-hand lane, he's struggling to find a way to score on the right-hand lane or hit the pocket, it makes him lose the left-hand lane because all of a sudden it carries over to the other lane. He's forcing the ball down the lane on the right-hand side. Now he forces it on the left and he gets the washout, the 1-2-10.
So what he needs to do is throw 2 different speeds on the 2 lanes, and that's hard to do.
That's very difficult. You know, we've all tried to do that over the years, and it's really hard to go back and forth and maintain the same ball speed time after time.
Well, Aulby taking the lead while sitting on the bench. Hasn't had a strike yet in this match, the 3rd game. He's up by 11.
Actually, he's been fortunate not to get an open himself. He's hit the middle of the head pin here on the left lane and skidded by on the right lane, and he skids by again and leaves only the 9. Almost had a tough spare, the 3-9, similar to what Mark Williams left him.
I mean, is it possible that with just him bowling that he's carrying the oil down on the left side of the lane also?
There's no question. Mike, that earlier on when Aulby was practicing, he was bowling a lot, and that meant he wasn't comfortable with his ball reaction. The more he bowled, obviously, the more lanes will change. He's a confident guy, though, and I'm sure that he feels he's going to find a way.
Well, you got 2 confident players right here.
Here's a look at the approach of Mike Aulby. Obviously a long way from the ball return, being a left-hander and playing in around the 3rd arrow. Quite a bit different than what Mark Williams is doing, playing in around the 6th arrow. So advantage on angle, obviously, to the left-hander.
Now, do you suppose playing that far inside, he's doing that because he's not affected by where the right-handers are laying the ball down?
No, he's definitely affected. There's no question the oil is leaving the head area the first 15 feet, and as it does, it's going to affect Mike Aulby also. So he's going from dry to oil back to dry. Look out.
Ooh, the Brooklyn strike for his first strike. Mike Aulby leads by 10 pins. Earl and Anthony and I will be back with the completion of the final match. Mark Williams up on the left lane after leaving a solid 10 on the right lane and making the spare. He's down by 10 pins. 2 balls in a row in the pocket, a 10 and a 4.
We're going to take another look at that shot that he played on lane 26, and this is the best shot by far in the match from Mark Williams. And watch his reaction. We'll get him out of the corner of the eye there as you see this ball going flush in the pocket for the 10 pin, and he knew he made a great shot, Mike, and it just didn't happen for him.
Goes it straight at that 4 pin. Has the spare, and it's just grind away by both players. 11 pins. Aulby, though, got the Brooklyn strike. Wants to take advantage of it. He's been light twice on this right lane.
Well, he's got to be thinking, hey, Mark Williams just made 2 great shots. I better get something going here because it looks like he might be getting lined up. That's deep. Got it.
Smooth, though. It looked like he went over the top of that ball a little bit more.
The ball really flipped for him on the back end, and that's as much as he's turned it. He's been rolling the ball. That one he got a little more side turn, as you noticed, Mike, and got the ball to come back on the back.
21 pins, a difference. Aulby working on a double. What's he do now? He went Brooklyn on this lane, the left, last time.
Well, I think he made the same adjustment there. He will make the same adjustment there he just made on the right-hand lane. I don't think there's that much difference with the 2 lanes for Mike Aulby. He's going to get it deeper into the lane, in other words, farther down and turn it more, get more back end. Stick a little at the approach. There's the middle of the head pin, got a break again on the left-hand lane. Now, so far he's hit the left-hand lane twice through the middle of the head pin, got them both to break up, and he carried the Brooklyn, which helped him get the double here in the 5th and 6th. So Mike's been pretty fortunate on the left-hand lane. On the other hand, Mark Williams, who has got to be thinking, just let me carry a couple of hits and I'm back in the match, but it just hasn't worked for him. Tough spare, 2-4.
Using his regular ball at it, not the spare ball. So it's straight, though. No trouble. Mark Williams heading towards the 7th frame, trailing by 19, needs to get something going to put some pressure on Aulby.
Well, if he can repeat the last 2 shots, he's got a good chance. But here's a great camera angle here from way above, and watch him go to the left around the ball return. And then a lot of ball speed.
Has to hurry. And the bucket, oh my goodness. That lane is almost impossible.
It is where he's playing, and Mark Williams capable of playing any angle on the lane. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't moved out, out somewhere around that 1st or 2nd arrow. He's capable of throwing the ball hard, a lot of ball speed with end-over-end roll, and that just might be. If he can just get 1 strike on this lane, it could be the difference in the match. Tough spare. Got to cover the bucket.
At the 2-4-5-8, goes straight at it and has it. Very nice spare, but spares are not getting it done. He's down by 23 with 3 frames to go. Well, both of them, I imagine it's a little hard to breathe right now toward the tail end of this game because you just don't have any room out there to aim at.
Mike Aulby definitely the advantage mentally right now. He just came off a win at the Tournament of Champions, and now you see Mark Williams going over to get a different ball and try something different here. He knows that he's got to do something. He's 21 down, 23 down with 3 frames to play.
Oh, and right in the pocket. A nice reaction, but just didn't strike. Wow. He's only had 1 strike this whole game, Earl.
Yeah, and I still feel it goes back to the synthetic surface, the oil moving around on it because the players practice so much before they went on the air. The scores have been good here throughout the match play. Right up till today.
These two guys both averaged over 230 for the tournament, didn't they?
They did, and so here I believe what happens is the players almost defeat themselves, and the right-handers being more of them practicing, the advantage goes to Aulby. Aulby's still not bowling that well as far as hitting the pocket, but he's stayed out of trouble.
8 frames. Has to hurry. And almost a bucket for him.
Well,
the 3-5-6.
These spares aren't easy, especially when you're getting into the 8th, 9th, and 10th frames of a championship match, and especially in a tournament as
prestigious as this one.
And this is one of the biggest of all time, the Masters. And they all want to win it very badly. Another tough spare here.
Uses the non-hooker. Goes straight at it. Perfect conversion. Boy, it's just whichever one can almost limp to the finish line here, Earl.
Yeah, I'm sure they're both wishing that Mark Williams is wishing there were about 6 more frames, and Aulby's wishing that was the 10th.
21 pins the difference. We see the scoreboard there. 2 frames to go. That can disappear in a frame.
He hasn't hit the pocket on this lane here for the last 3 shots. He's been twice through the nose and once Brooklyn.
When he needed it there.
Well, the difference has been that when Aulby's hit the pocket, he's struck. When Williams has hit the pocket, he's left a corner pin or the 4 pin or something like that.
He's left 2 10s and a 4, but he's still in the match if he could strike it out.
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
He's in front of the ball return, Earl.
Look at this, folks. Now, he's moved clear up in front of the ball return to get as deep as he can. He's gone to a ball that hooks a lot more.
Brooklyn? He got the Brooklyn. There's the strike on the right lane.
Oh, that's the one he needs. That's the key right there. Now it's still anybody's tournament. Here, we're going to take another look at it. Let's see where he's standing. Now, folks, believe me, this is tough because he just shortened his approach by about 4 feet. See, this is where he would normally start. He's moved up in front of the ball return. That's great camera work, just to give you an idea. And look at this. Look at the rotation on that ball. Whew, looks like it's got a motor on it.
Trying for his first double.
Got to have it.
And he does. What a great shot. We talked about him being such a great clutch player.
He is a clutch player, and what a great move he made on the right-hand lane. Even though it was a crossover, he was willing to make the move, make the gamble. That's why he's won the Tournament of Champions twice. Mike Aulby's starting to feel the heat a little bit. 1 more strike here, and Aulby's going to need a strike to win this match.
11 pins the difference right now. This cuts it to 1.
Mm-hmm. Look at the concentration.
More room. Nope. Brooklyn again. Nope. The 6 and the 10.
You got to give Mark Williams credit. He made the move when he had to make it, and this isn't over yet because Mike Aulby still needs a mark, and he hasn't been bowling that well either.
At the 6-10. I think Aulby's in the same situation. No, he missed it. Aulby 187. He still needs 9, right?
He needs 9 for 189. 9 on the first ball. If he misses spare, he still wins.
He just wants to hit the pocket. That's it. He's a winner right there. He knew it. He had it figured out, Earl.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't think he wanted to hit that quite high in the pocket. That was 6-8 territory there, but he got it. Made a great shot when he needs to, and that's why, again, Mike Aulby is, in my mind, the best lefty in the world.
Maybe the best player in the world. Mike Aulby, the winner of the 45th ABC Bud Light Masters Tournament, his second Masters. He's trying for a second go-around at the Grand Slam.
There you go. Yeah.
Mark Williams takes home $26,600, and he's disappointed even with that. 200 even, gets it done. The only 200s of the day, bowled by Mike Aulby. The handshake, standing ovation from our crowd here. It was a struggle. Well, we'll be back to talk to our champion and have the presentation. We'll be right back after these messages. The 45th Annual American Bowling Congress Bud Light Masters is being brought to you by Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by the American Bowling Congress, providing championship service to bowlers since 1895. Make sure your league is ABC sanctioned. And there's your champion of the 45th American Bowling Congress Bud Light Masters Tournament. Michael, you kind of just struggled to the end, but you finished.
Well, we were all talking beforehand about how tough they were getting out there, and really just try to keep it in play, make your spares, and I was fortunate to get a break and make my spares and just have barely enough to beat Mark.
Well, the president of the American Bowling Congress, Ben Palumbo, is here with a beautiful trophy that I'm sure you're anxious to receive.
Mike, it's my pleasure to present you with the American Bowling Congress Bud Light 1995 Masters Championship Trophy. We're happy to present this to you in our centennial year. You're a great ambassador of bowling. You're a great ambassador for the American Bowling Congress, and you had a hell of a good week bowling, 200-300 games. Congratulations. Keep it up.
Thank you very much, Ben. Thank you very much to the American Bowling Congress and all the members. We appreciate your support of not only the Masters, but all of bowling. Keep coming out in Bowl League every week, everyone. Thank you very much, ABC.
Well, that's well said. Something I'm sure that you're a little more anxious to get, something really tangible here, a nice big check presented by sports analyst for Anheuser-Busch, Kevin Card.
Mike, on behalf of Bud Light, it's a real pleasure to present you with a check for $50,600 to congratulate you on the super year you're having, and also to take this opportunity to thank ABC. We love our affiliation with ABC.
Well, thanks, Kevin. Thank you very much to Bud Light, Kevin, not only for your sponsorship of the Masters, but of all bowling. You sponsor us on every level of bowling. We appreciate Bud Light's sponsorship. Thank you very much.
Well, you're now one of 5 players to win the Masters twice, and a guy that's won it twice himself has a question for you.
Mike, it looked to me like you were struggling a little bit, especially on the left-hand lane. Did you make any adjustments after you saw Mr. Williams get lined up?
Well, yeah, I was really concerned he was going to strike out and force me to mark, and obviously a mark out there could be pretty difficult. And I was really just trying to keep my speed up and keep it on line, but on that left lane it really wasn't that easy to do. So I was fortunate to get some breaks, break up some splits, and like I said, still get that spare ball in my hand and make them.
No, you're a true champion, Mike.
Michael, is it too early to be thinking about PBA Player of the Year?
Real early. It's been pretty good. I've been very fortunate to get some breaks on TV, bowl well, and take advantage of them. And we're only halfway through, long way to go. And at this time, I'd like to thank my family coming out, Tammy's family for coming out, and hi to my mom. And I appreciate and get well, Eva Burridge. She's given me a lot of mental help in my mental game, and she's been very good for me the last 4 years to get me the championships I've got.
Well, we want to offer our congratulations to Mike Aulby, and we've got to leave now. So for Earl Anthony, this is Mike Durbin saying so long, where Mike Aulby is your champion.